guys, Howard here with Acoustic and Electric Blues. This is actually number 10 in my Acoustic Blues series, but as always, as I mentioned in those previous videos, you can play this stuff on electric or acoustic. It's equally as cool on either platform. So what I decided to do with this one is do the performance on electric, okay, with a nice clean sound, and then I'll do the actual tutorial walking you through each phase of it on the acoustic, okay? So here we go. I'll play it first and then we'll dive into it. Okay, so let's jump right into that opening phrase. And as a reminder, opening phrases can be used as turnarounds as well. So you guys can crazy glue this stuff together any way you like. In fact, I like to present a few ideas from previous lessons, expand on those, and then show you some new stuff as well. That way you can build your own 12-bar blues. That's what it's all about. Okay, so first things first, we're in a drop D tuning, so we want to lower that 6th string down a whole step to D. And we are ready to go. Here's the opening phrase. All right, so you got the tab on the screen, but let me play that nice and slow for you. And then we are into it, right? Now we're playing a standard sort of blues boogie thing here, but because we are in a drop D tuning, it is played like this. So I'm attacking all 3 strings there, the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th, okay? And I'll play that nice and slow and you can see it on the tab. So the only string that's moving is the A string. Right, nice and slow again. And then we do the first lick. You can see the tab on the screen, but once again, let me play that nice and slow. We want to hit that 6th string again and just let it ring out. And then we're going to walk into the 4 chord, which is essentially a G7, and play that boogie pattern again, by the way. Play that twice, okay? And you can walk into that with 1 finger if that's easier for you. I like to do it like that and then jump over, but either way is totally fine. The main thing is that you want to connect it right away or close to right away with the lick. And then for the next lick, which is a string of double stops, we hit that open, what is now a D string, the 6th string, and then let it ring out just as before and play the double stop pattern. And then we continue by playing that whole thing an octave higher. So we hit the open D string now, And you can see that the fingerings are exactly the same, just across different strings, okay? I've covered a lot about double stops in previous lessons. But let me play that one nice and slow for you as well. Little hybrid picking there at the end. And you'll find this in the previous acoustic blues lesson in the key of G, but of course that was in standard tuning, and with the drop D tuning, the fingering changes slightly, which makes it kind of cool and interesting to play. And then we'll do a variation on this in the second go around here. But this is what it is. We're moving from an A7 to a G7, and how I'm forming these chords is I'm using my ring finger to play the 7th fret on the top string, or the top string closest to your head, of course, the 6th string, and then I'm barring across the first 4 strings, the E, the B, the G, and the D, right? And then forming my 7th chord by placing my 2nd finger on the 4th fret on the G string, and that's where the hammer-on is going to be. So we skip a string for this. We skip the A string. Just simply move it down to a G7. So here it is, nice and slow. That's a really cool little phrase to play. The idea is to get all the notes ringing together as much as you possibly can, right? As opposed to it being a separated lick. And then we play the first turnaround, of course, which is one of my favorites, very ZZ Top, if you will. Finish it off with that slippery A7 chord, right? So here it is slow. And then we take that A7 shape, which is exactly like the shape of a D chord. If you dragged that all the way up to the 5th fret and then up one set of strings using the D, the G, and the B, you'll have that shape right there. So what I did is I slid it a half step, and then back, bringing the open A string into it. So we have and now we're into the next go around. And for this, we're employing more chord work, right? A lot more chords. We're going to use a D7 sharp 9, and then we're going to use a G7, which once again is played with that fingering I went over earlier. And so this is what we play. And then a lick will follow all of that, okay? So let's go over that. Once again, we've got the D7 sharp 9, which you can see on the tab, 2 open strikes on the 6th string, and then 2 strikes on the chord. And then we have the phrase. And then we form that G7 chord, which I know is a little bit wicked, but well worth the price of admission. So I'm bouncing off of the 6th string, skipping the A string, and then bringing the rest of the strings into the picture. You can just use the D, the G, and the B if you want, but it sounds kind of nice, kind of Beatlesque if you get that in there as well. So once we hit the G7, we play another phrase. So far we have. And then we come back and play that D7 sharp 9 again, but we've got a different tail end on it. So here that is nice and slow as well. A little bit of a quarter bend there, I would say. One more time slowly. And then we're going to walk into that G7 chord again, all right? Like that. Just like that, okay? And then that's where the next lick comes in. But let me put all of that together for you, okay? So let's go over all of that. So after you've played the chords, we hit that open string again, the 6th string, let it ring. And you can see the lick on the tab, but I'll play it nice and slow. One more time real slowly. Now we walk into the 5 chord, which is the A7. And we do that by playing the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th fret on the E string, or D string if you like. And we are once again arpeggiating those chords, the A7 to the G7, right? But this arpeggiation is slightly different, and that's what's cool about this. You can actually mix these up together if you want to. But these are played like so. So maybe a little bit more involved depending on how you look at it, right? But here it is nice and slow. And once again, the idea is to get all these strings ringing together as much as possible. And then down a whole step to G, of course. And then we play the closing phrase. With that D9 chord, and once again just keep that 6th string ringing through the whole thing. But here it is nice and slow, and on this I think down, down, up is best for these arpeggios. Little hybrid picking at the end there. So there you go with acoustic and electric blues, okay? You can play this on electric and it sounds great. Just use a nice clean tone. Or you can play it on acoustic or both, you know, whatever you like. So I'll run it once again with all the tab on the screen in real time. So you can kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, okay? Thanks for watching, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.